કેમ છો ભરતભાઈ?
મજામાં.
બસ જો આગળ. મૃદાંગભાઈ શું લગાવ્યા?
બોલો, મજામાં ભરતભાઈ?
બસ મજામાં.
શું કહો છો?
તમારા ઇમેજ પર 1 નંબર આવે છે, કઈ સર્ટિફિકેટ આવી ગયું શું?
ના ના, હવે થોડું કંઈક પેલું કરીએ ને, હવે ફ્રી થઈ ગયા, નવું કંઈક કરીએ. બોલો, તમારે અત્યારથી જ ક્વેશ્ચન ચાલુ થઈ ગયા છે, હજુ લેક્ચર ચાલુ થયા પહેલા.
स्टार्ट करिए अब।
यस मृदंग भाई आइए।
हाँ मृदंग भाई आएगी इसमें।
वेलकम श्रीधर भाई।
वेलकम।
वेलकम फ्रेंड्स from all Gujarat Federation of Tax Consultants and Income Tax Bar Association, all the members of both the associations. Today we have again started after the end of March season with new webinar series with new topics and with interesting speakers. Today we have kept very interesting subject on e-invoicing in GST. This landmark decision of central government will change the rules of business because the limit is extensively reduced and it will cover many of the business SSEs to follow the rules of e-invoice. E-invoice definitely brings the transparency and accountability on the part of billing business, and now no mischief can be done as far as the business SSEs are concerned. Friends, as a part of AGFTC's initiating drive to bring new young tax professionals on the platform of webinar so that we can get good speakers, good experts in the future. And today I really welcome, and I know this speaker very well, Honorable Speaker C.A. Shridhar Shah. Friends, I must say that as far as the representation is concerned, this young tax professional has helped us a lot in making representation to Ministry of Finance as far as the GST is concerned. Today, we are going to listen to him in the topic of e-invoicing, and we will understand the views, his expert views. And please welcome C.A. Shridhar Shah, Honorable Speaker of today's webinar session. With this brief speech, I invite President of Income Tax Bar Association, Shri Mrudang Vakil.
Thank you. President of AGFTC Kartikeya Shah, immediate past President of AGFTC Bharatbhai Sheth, Vice President of Ahmedabad Zone AGFTC CA Vishweshbhai, other office bearers on virtual dais, today's expert of the subjects, Mr. Shridhar Shah, rather I can say a close friend and honorary secretary of Income Tax Bar Association. And it's always a special privilege and proud moment for Income Tax Bar Association and for personally me that today's very important topic will be delivered by none other than but Mr. Shridhar Shah. I extend my welcome to all of you in this 28th webinar in its 75th year of the association. As we all know that from 1/4/22, e-invoice is applicable to the registered dealer whose turnover exceeds 20 crore in any previous year. We are moving towards complete digitalization era where no physical paperwork requires, and one of the example is e-invoice. This impacts many of us clients and we are required to get them updated. For that, today we have invited C.A. Shridhar Shah. I am very much sure and confident that after today's talk, there will be not a single point unsolved so far as e-invoice is concerned. I once again feeling very proud and for on behalf of Income Tax Bar Association that my close friend C.A. Shridhar Shah is going to deliver today's topic. With this, I welcome one and all and my dear friend Shridhar Shah to this August gathering. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrudang bhai. It is my honor to introduce today's honorable faculty, C.A. Shridhar Shah, and very young tax professionals. Shridhar Shah is a chartered accountant in practice and is a partner of BSSB and Associates based at Ahmedabad. He is having experience of a decade working in the areas of business, consultancy, income tax, and service tax, GST. He is also working in the area of technology, enable and sustainable solutions to the business and ERP solutions. He is a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and has completed certificate course on forensic audit and fraud detection from ICI. Currently, he is serving as Honorable Secretary of Income Tax Bar Association and is also a committee member of AGFTC. Friends, I must tell you that this young tax professionals is a master in technology and expert in tax laws. So please listen to him very carefully and his views. This topic will be very interesting for us to know and for advising our clients. Now I invite CS Shridhar sir for his expert speech.
Thank you, Karthikeya bhai. Thank you, Mrudang bhai. I'm not an expert as you tell, but yes, I will try my best to cover the topic. I will share my screen. My screen is visible to everyone? Visible
Yes.
on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So e-invoicing, as the name suggests, but it's not an per se an invoice. When we go to this, like e-invoice is a process. When we go to the definition part, I'll quickly move through this technical part about e-invoice. There is no much thing about e-invoice, though it seems complicated, but it's not that complicated. So when about e-invoice is a process through which for each invoice to the registered dealer for whom e-invoice is applicable, generated by a registered person, is authenticated by GSTN, and post authentication each invoice is issued an IRN and a QR code. So basically e-invoicing is a process through which an invoice is authenticated. It's an authentication mechanism, and it is invoice we generate through our regular systems only. But yes, once you cross the threshold limit about the turnover, you have to generate an IRN. You need to give reference of that invoice and create a unique IRN, and that's the validation process. It's a authentication process, right? GSTN manages the invoice registration portal. It's been developed by NIC, and the ID is as shown in the slide. They have multiple mirrors. Currently, they are on e-invoice one, but as per the notification, they have, I think, 10 URLs. All invoice information is transferred from e-invoice portal to both the GST portal and e-Web portal in real time. Therefore, it eliminates the need of manual data entry while filing GSTR1 return, as well as generation of Part A of e-Web. So in GST, we know that e-Web bill is one of the very important area where for transport of goods from one place, movement of goods rather, from one place to other, you have to generate e-Web bill. So when a person goes for applicability of e-invoice, so it's a seamless thing. From e-invoice, the data goes to GSTR1, that is the outward supply to B2B part, and also that data Part A get reflected into e-Web portal, so they don't have to do it twice or thrice, and it is directly passing information. There are no chances of error. There is no duplication of work. When we go to the history, like from where e-invoice comes, from where the power to government gets the power to notify the e-invoice things. So it was in the scheme of GST when it was enacted, but due to some technical issues, it was delayed. So in very beginning, if we remember, they had standardized the invoice process, and basically invoice is about capturing the mandatory fields. Mandatory fields are captured into a database. So they have a lot of database generated through all the filing we do. So government issued a notification on 30th December 2019, notification number 68 2019. In rule number 48, sub-rule 4 was inserted that invoice shall be prepared by such class of registered person as may be notified by the government on the recommendation of the council by including such particulars contained in form GST in INV-01 after obtaining an invoice reference number by uploading information contained therein on the common goods and service tax electronic portal in such manner and subject to such condition and the restriction as may be specified in the notification. So this is the starting of e-invoice when they notified it. There is sub-rule 5 and sub-rule 6. Sub-rule 5 says that if someone is supposed to issue e-invoice, if he is liable to issue e-invoice, and if that person is not issuing e-invoice, then that invoice raised shall not be treated as an invoice. And sub-rule 6, it gives exemption to few people to whom this provision shall not apply. With that, to enable the entire system of e-invoicing, they issued other 4 notifications, 69 2019, in which they notified common portal URLs for e-invoice under GST, notification number 70, in which they notified class of registered person required to issue e-invoice under GST. Earlier it was written 100 CR, thereafter they come up with the 500 CR turnover criteria. In notification number 71 2019, CBIT notified rules 46 was applicable. That was the appointed date, 1st April 2020. So in 2 years, we have come to reach to 20 CR turnover now. Thereafter, notification number 72, they notified issuance of B2C invoice having dynamic QR code by a registered person having aggregate turnover above 500 crore in a financial year. That rule is also applicable even today, but as we are on to e-invoice, we will not touch up that part. This is the implementation of phase manner of registered person having aggregate turnover in a financial year. So by notification number 60 2020 from 1/10/2020, it was for all the registered person having turnover about 500 CR. Then from 1/1/21 they come to 100 crore. Then on 1/4/21 they came to 50 crore, and now notification number 1/2022 they come up with a new limit of 20 crore. Now it is very interesting. It is applicable from 1st April, yesterday, and the very interesting part about reading the turnover for this applicability is very interesting, that you have to check turnover of all the years, financial years from financial year 17-18. Even in any year you have crossed that limit, e-invoice is applicable. Another thing is, suppose this is the first year when you are crossing the turnover, so you are not liable for e-invoicing in current year. It will be applicable from next year if you are breaching this turnover threshold limit for the first time. Now it comes to the applicability part. So who is supposed to whom the e-invoice is applicable? So e-invoice is applicable to only supplies made to registered person, B2B supplies. Now, nowhere it's written it's exempt or taxable. So if it is a B2B supply, you have breached that threshold limit, then e-invoice is applicable. Supplies to SEZ, with or without payment of tax if you are using LUT or something. Exports, again with or without payment of tax, and deemed exports. And by notification specifically, they have excluded few people in which insurance, banking company, NBFCs, financial institution, goods transport agencies, a registered person supplying passenger transportation service, a registered person supplying services by way of admission of like is multiplex services provider and input service distributor, SEZ unit. There are two notifications through which they have excluded certain class of people to whom e-invoice is not applicable. Now, which documents are covered? So, invoices are covered, credit notes and debit notes, which are not financial in nature. Like if it is a charging of late payment charges or something like that, that e-invoice is not applicable in that cases. In case of export, it is applicable. It is not applicable in case of bill of supply. Self invoices in case of RCM, reverse charge under section 9(4), that is through the unregistered person. Delivery challans, advance receipts. In these cases, GST provisions are applicable, but there are provisions to create issue an invoice under GST in such cases, that bill of supply, self invoice, everything. But e-invoice is not applicable. For imports, it is not applicable. For B2C transactions, it is not applicable. Non-GST supplies, the items which are not under the purview of GST, the e-invoice is not applicable. Now, moving to the RCM part. Now, in RCM, when a person is liable for e-invoice, then even for RCM under 9(3), where government has specified the cases in which the RCM is mandatory and the other person is also a registered person, then yes, you are supposed to create an e-invoice. If it is 9(4), that unregistered person, then it is not applicable. For e-commerce operator, in RCM, e-invoice is applicable. Even there is a provision that e-commerce operators can issue invoice on behalf of suppliers. So as in introduction, as Karthik said, that it will be having advantages. So yes, these are the advantages as shown by government to us about e-invoices. So e-invoice resolves and plugs a major gap in data reconciliation under GST to reduce mismatch errors. The best part is GSTR1 data is populated automatically. So yes, the chances of missing something is very less. E-invoices created on one software can be read by another, allowing interoperability and help reduce data entry errors. Real-time tracking of invoices prepared by the supplier is enabled by invoice. We have a tech-savvy government, digital India. So everywhere there is technology coming in place. When I talk to my clients, sometimes I tell them that government knows more than what Facebook and Google know about you. That is that either they don't have intention to tell you that they know everything, or maybe they don't have enough processing power to show that they know everything. When AIS came in income tax, it seemed true that they have so much of data. And now, if you have heard recent cases that e-way bill is connected to truck number and FASTag, so they are making things very difficult for the evaders. No, somehow they manage to do it by any other manner. But yes, the gaps, the loopholes are being plugged day after day. So e-invoice is a step towards that. Backward integration and automation of tax return processing, as already covered. Faster availability of genuine input tax credit. Now in era of 2B, where only credit which appears in 2B is available to us, then obviously that if your supplier is issuing any e-invoice, then your tension of claiming input tax credit reduces to a great extent. So yes, that is a major benefit. So those the dealers who are dealing with big companies who are supposed to issue invoices, so they are not facing the issue of genuine input tax credit to a great extent. and lesser possibility of audit service by tax authorities since the information they require is available at transaction level. They have access to all your information you have filed. Now, see, e-invoice as such is, yes, with introduction of threshold limit of 20 CR, the e-invoice is applicable to so many people, but in act it is not having that great coverage in the even the rules. So from apart from theory, the major focus is on practical aspect of e-invoice. Now practically what e-invoice uh, is that we should know. Again, being tax practitioner, most of those who have joined this webinar might be tax practitioner. So now, from my experience and what I understand, that any person having turnover of 20 CR plus, mostly they are independent about invoicing part on their own. So more or less, it is affecting our clients, and as tax consultant our role is limited to advising them, guiding them, and resolving their issues. Now invoice, I've covered the technical part. There is no much about this technical aspect, but practical aspect is quite important. uh, there is a portal. They have given a portal for the those whom e-invoice is applicable. There is a trial portal also available where people can check how e-invoice works. So definitely anyone interested can go to it and check it. So at basics, government has provided an Excel tool, e-invoice portal. In help section tools, there is a bulk generation tool through which JSON file can be generated. It's a tool just like we have got tool for GSTR1 3 like that, through which a JSON file can be generated and uploaded after login on e-invoice portal. Most of the desktop or cloud-based accounting or billing software, your Tally, Busy, or Expert, or any software you are using now, that is Miracle. So many softwares are available. Mark is there. And ERPs are also available. They provide facility to generate e-invoice JSON file directly from the software. If you have updated service, now most of them are having the GSP, so they can push your data directly to e-invoice portal as well as e-waybill portal. Basically, e-invoice is a standardized format where various fields of invoices are standardized and details of the same need to be filed on e-invoice portal to generate IR and QR code as per schema notified for GST INV0. Again, a good part about GST Act is for everything they have a form, they have a format. So even in case of e-invoice, they have issued a schema of GST INV01. Now, 2-3 things like what people ask is, can I amend any invoice? Yeah. So no, once generated, you upload a file, you get the IRN generated, you cannot amend any invoice. You may amend details on GSTR1, but that's a risky thing because your data of invoice and GSTR1 will mismatch. Can you delete an invoice? Yes, as they say, within 24 hours of generation of IRN. Now, those who are doing it practically may know more that even before 24 hours, sometimes you cannot cancel it. So invoice number for which IRN is cancelled, you cannot use it again. E-invoice portal will not accept it. If an invoice for which e-invoice is generated needs to be cancelled, same as to cancelled on GSTR1. So to whom the e-invoice is applicable, they should take utmost care before creating IRN. They should verify the data, and if required to be settled, then in my personal opinion, I would advise to go with credit note route. So at least you will have documented thing, and on other part, the flow of credit will also be clear. to whom e-invoice is applicable, e-way bill cannot be generated. If it is generated, it can be considered invalid, because as we have read in the rule that if that invoice itself is invalid if you have not generated an IRN. Can you backdate e-invoice? Now, this is a question that there is no provision in the rules or anywhere else, or there is no clarification. So surprisingly, when I encountered this question on my own, then I asked multiple people and everyone had a different view. But practically, yes, a little backdated invoice, maybe e-invoice is it is allowing. A few told that it is not even allowing, but mostly it's allowing. And as I already told, invoice generated by a registered person is not valid till generation of IR. Panel provisions. So nothing goes without penalty. There are panel provisions so that you adhere to the rules. Government believes strictly in penalizing if you are not following it. So as per rule 48.5, e-invoice is applicable, and without an IRP, it cannot be treated as invoice. Penalty from non-generation of e-invoice is covered by section 122, where in subsection 1, there is a provision that supply of any goods or service or both without issue of any invoice or issues an incorrect or false invoice. For that, there is a provision of penalty of 100% of tax amount or rupees 10,000, whichever is higher. There is another in subsection 3, there is a provision where someone fails to issue invoice in accordance with the provision of this act and rules, then up to 25,000 penalty may be levied. Again, if e-invoice is applicable, you have not created an invoice, then if that invoice without an IRN is on which you have sent goods, okay, then that goods and vehicle may be liable for detention, as well as if as e-invoice without e-invoice, e-way bill is not also not valid, so e-way bill related penalty may be applicable. Now, the best part about e-invoices and our enthusiastic startups and fraternity of software providers, we have lot of technology at our help for e-invoice. Even NIC has come out with solutions, multiple solutions. So the most traditional and government mandated first is the offline tool utility, in which you can generate the JSON and you can upload it on the portal. Then NIC has recently come up with a NIC GPP on GST e-invoice preparation and printing tool online. For those who don't want to go for any solution, those who have very few invoices, they have created a web application which can be operated through mobile. It's a user-friendly portal. It is just like creating an invoice in a online software. Even you can create master, item master, party master, and you can save offline data, and when online you can create the e-invoice. You can log in with the same user ID for through the which you are uploading the offline the JSON through offline tools. With GST, we heard a lot about ASP GST Suvidha Provider. So yes, they are allowed. They integrate the APIs through direct integration. They have a separate API portal where if you can adhere to all these conditions that they have, so then they are open for API integration also. With API integration with system person GSTN and using e-way bill API credentials. There are a lot of market vendors who are providing this service. Tata and ClearText, and there are many more who are leading in this area. Verification part. So how to verify an e-invoice, whether the e-invoice is true or correct? I have applied an IRN number, I have applied a QR code, but I have printed the details of invoice, body, something else. Now, whether it's a valid or not, check how to check. So for each e-invoice, there is a QR code, and government has released an application to verify QR code. It's available for both Android and iOS. You have to go to e-invoice website and download the verify QR code app through entering the mobile number, and it is available for Android and iOS, and you just download it, install it. Then with that application, you can scan the QR and you can check the actual details of what you have uploaded for creation of e-invoice. There is another application which is Android only as of now is available. I have given the link. I will share this presentation so everyone can check it. This application allows scanning and verifying QR code of e-invoice. There are two parts in that application. One is scanning and verification of QR code, and also you can upload e-sign invoice JSON file and verify whether the digital signature of this invoice and signed content are true or not. So government has come out with the verification tools also. This is something new I seen on the invoice portal, that they are coming with a Sandesh, an indigenous instant messaging platform just like our WhatsApp. I don't know how it is. I have not tried it. But they are saying that henceforth e-way bill and e-invoice system will send directly e-way bill and e-invoice statistics, alerts, and notification to the taxpayers through Sandesh and SMS to their registered mobile numbers. As of now, we get SMS on registered mobile number when an e-way bill is generated on your number, and all statistics. After a few weeks, so government's intention is clear that yes, you must install this app if you want to get communication. That after a few weeks, the messages through SMS will be stopped. Hence, all the users of this e-way bill and e-invoice system are requested to install Sandesh app on their registered mobile number. I don't know when these few weeks will come, that after which, but yes, if your client is using e-invoice, then you should advise them that go and have this application. You can test it. So in e-invoice, this is the content we have. This is the provisions we have. It's very simple. Most of people at most of the places, most of the clients, they are doing e-invoicing and on their own. Now, in my presentation, the practical part is not cover how to create an invoice. And for that, we have Mr. Rahul Sharma, who is a product manager for GSP solutions from Tata Nexar, TCS and e-invoicing solution. It is one of the most affordable and easy to use e-invoice solution. On our special request, he has come so that we can, it is, in fact, it is cheaper than most of the software's annual renewals. So I'll invite Mr. Rahul. He can come and share his presentation and guide us about the e-invoicing process. Thank you, Rahul.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Shridhar, for a wonderful introduction and a wonderful presentation. Indeed, it was an insightful one. Uh, so, without further ado, what I am going to do is first I am going to introduce what Tata Nexark is in very brief slides, and after which I will take you through. I would say what Mr. Shah has spoken about. I'll take a step ahead and then probably I'll show the demonstration of the product as well.
One second. So there are a few questions in the chat box. I assure you all that I'll answer all the questions once this presentation is
Shridhar bhai, Rahul bhai's video is not on.
Rahul bhai, you can on the video and share the screen, please.
I'm not allowed to. Yes, now I am there. Okay. I hope now my video is.
Yeah, video is on.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. So what I'll quickly do is I'll quickly share my screen and take you through the presentation slides. Just a second. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. Uh, as Mr. Shah has said that I am from Tata Nexark. So we are going to cover two things. One is about Tata Nexark, an overview, and then we're going to cover the e-invoicing piece. So Tata Nexark is a digital platform built by Tata Business Hub, which is a digital first platform incorporated last year, and we are aiming to solve holistically or address the pain points of the emerging businesses holistically, and because of which uh, and because of to solve the problem of these large or emerging businesses, what we feel that CAs like yourself or people like yourself plays an very important role. Since I have talked about that we are trying to solve many problems of uh, emerging businesses. So these problems are categorized majorly in three categories. One is wherein these small businesses or emerging businesses uh, trying to grow their business. So we have got a portal which is, or we have got a solution which is tender and quotation, wherein not only the uh, government tenders are listed, but the tenders of some of the large companies like Tata Motors, Tata Steel are also listed, uh, so that both the parties, that is the emerging businesses as well as large corporates, can find their suppliers or the buyers. Also, if any of the emerging businesses is facing any challenge as far as their working capital is concerned, as far as the expert advice is concerned, we would, for the working capital, we have introduced a solution which is called Early Pay, which is essentially an invoice discounting software, and emerging businesses can take care of their working capital with that. Along with that, we are also coming up with something like business loan as well as business credit cards as well. Last but not the least is optimizing the processes. So some of the businesses might be using, let's say, for e-invoice generation, they are using NIC portal, right? To get tension free or to optimize the current process, they can utilize some of our solutions which are available for them to create e-invoicing and so e-invoicing. Tata Nexark has grown tremendously in past 1 year or so, wherein we have more than 100,000 businesses registered, and we are uh, increasing our base at a rate of 3x quarter on quarter. If I talk about uh, if I talk about geography, then West has the largest base of the EVs that we cater to, followed by South and the North. And if I talk about the industries that we have potential, or we have industries presence, then infrastructure, allied sectors, industrial products, or apparel, luggage, and personal care companies are the one which constitute to the 70% of the target. So which means that if let's say you want us to run a campaign, or probably you want to increase your base, then we can run a campaign on your behalf, and probably talk about some of the services which you are also providing. So it's a very brief introduction of Tata Nexark. I'll not take uh, much time on it. I'll just talk about e-invoicing. So as Mr. Shah has mentioned that GST compliance is changing and is changing very rapidly, and e-invoicing has been forefront of this particular change. And it started in October 2020 with 500 crore turnover, had to comply with it, and then followed it up by 100 crore, 50 crore, and now it is getting applicable for 20 crore businesses. So it is changing. The flow I wanted to talk about. So, Mr. Shridhar has given a lot of uh, 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 lot of knowledge about e-invoicing. I just wanted to portray the same journey over here. Uh, so, uh, a seller uploads the e-invoice on IRP portal, right, in JSON format through by either by going directly to the IRP portal, that is e-invoice1 gst.nic.gov.in, either by going over there or using one of the tools like TCS Ion e-invoicing solution. It gets registered in e-invoicing, and after getting registered, IRN number and QR code gets generated, and the same invoice within few days would start reflecting in the GST portal. And on the and soon as uh, the seller files its GST return, right, it would start showing for the buyer as well. So, which means that one of the uh, major problem which all the businesses, and in fact the our tax practitioner community is facing, that we were not able to avail the input tax credit in time. Now that would not be a problem. Here is a sample invoice which I have uploaded over here, which essentially, if you look at this part of the invoice starting from here, right, if you see this particular invoice, there is nothing much changed. Just it has added the IRN number, QR code, and the acknowledgement number and acknowledgement date as well. So what exactly entails in QR code is it has GST number of the supplier and the recipient, invoice number, date of invoice generation, invoice value, number of line items, and HSN code, which means that if you scan this particular QR code, you will get virtually the invoice in itself. Similarly, IRN number. So the IRN number is nothing but it is a unique number which gets generated with every invoice, or I would say every B2B invoice in India. It's a 64-digit number which contains GST number of the supplier. Document type, there could be three document types. One is the invoice. Then it could be a credit note or it could be a debit note. Then the document number, right, and the year in which this particular document is being generated. So why should somebody choose Tata Nexark GSP solution or TCS Ion e-invoicing solution? Uh, first, or one of the major reason is that as a we are one of the first GST Suvidha provider allotted by the government of India in 2017 in the first lot itself. The product is a combination of not only e-invoicing and e-way bill, but it is a combination of GST and ITC, and you can also do your reconciliation with this particular product. Also, it is most secured as it is hosted on TCS India server, which comes along with data recovery as well as business continuity features. Also, we have multiple modes of exchange of data, modes slash formats of exchange of data, wherein if you have a CSV file, JSON file, XML file, all of it can be exchanged. And as Mr. Shah was mentioning uh, that lot of GST solution or a lot of e-invoicing solution are there which can get integrated with any of the ERP. So our solution right? You have any homegrown solution, right? Or homegrown ERP, it can get integrated with that, whether it is built on, let's say, .NET, Java, or the larger ERPs are concerned, which is your SAP or Oracle or Microsoft Dynamics for that matter. In fact, uh, if you have Tele, then we have come up with the Tele connector as well, so that same Tele can be used for e-invoice generation. Also, if any of your business is connected with a large enterprise, and they have, and that large enterprise, either they are the supplier or the buyer of that particular large enterprise, our solution can also get integrated with their supply chain management or customer relationship management portal as well. So these are the few benefits that you will get apart from what exactly entails in the software, which I am going to talk about now. So I am going to take you through to the solution itself. So this solution, this is the first screen of the solution wherein your customer's GSTIN would be listed, right? If he have multiple GSTIN, then multiple GSTIN would be like listed like this. If he has a single GSTIN, then single GSTIN would be listed like this. You need to select your GSTIN and this will become the home page. So the home page would starts with on the right hand side. If somebody has multiple GSTIN, then he just need to click on that particular GSTIN and click yes, and it would change to the other GSTIN. The other important date, important part is the important upcoming dates of filing. So be it GSTR 1, 3B, 9 or 9C, whichever upcoming dates are, it would indicate that. Similarly, you will have the filing status, which when I say filing status, that if you are if you have filed your GSTR 1 or not for that particular GSTN, it will show. Similarly, it will show for 3B, 9 and 9C, and then the ledger details. So at the start itself, you will get the ledger details as well. If as a tax practitioner you buy full suit, then it would come with the maker or checker maker checker ability as well. When I say maker or checker, it means that your client can update its data in the software itself, and from here itself you would be able to access that data. So there will not be any to or fro of the data. And when we are talking about e-invoicing, so your e-invoicing data will immediately start flowing into the software, and it would come with various features. For example, it comes with GSTR1, 3B, preparation of a reconciliation. If you have already done some reconciliation, then uh, my bad. If you have already done some reconciliation, then you can download previous reconciliation data itself. So you need not to save the data per GSTIN data of your client. Then you can also track GST forms. You can also track return filing of your client's vendors as well. Along with it, it also comes with GSTR 9, 8A, 6, 7, 8, all kind of filings as well. Uh, so I'll quickly talk about e-invoicing now. So e-invoicing, as I had mentioned earlier, e-invoicing, the upload of data can happen in three ways. The first way, which I am going to show in just a bit, is uh, is the manual upload. This is first way of uploading. The other one is the tele connector, which at the end I'll take only a couple of minutes to show you how tele connector works. And last but not the least is Last but not the least is API integration or SFTP integration. So I select the e-invoice upload uh, and I select CSV file. Now I'll show you first CSV file before I actually upload the data. So it starts with self GSTIN. The reason of having a self GSTIN at the top is because customer can insert multiple GSTIN data in the same file. In this example, I have taken B2B, B2G, and export transactions. In addition to that, I have also taken invoice, credit note, and debit note, all the three types of the document with which we talk about. Then the document number, document date would also be there. In addition to that, the template will have the supplier details, that is supplier GSTIN and its details. That is the uh, that is the name of the company, that is the name, address, and email ID, and so on and so forth. Similarly, it will have buyer's details. After which it will have product details. So product details, it comes with product name, product description. It would also come with HSN code. If at all there is a barcode, then you can mention the barcode as well. Then quantity, and so on and so forth. Then the taxable values, if let's say 12% is getting charged on the taxable amount, then the tax values would be there. And then the total item value. If you have multiple items within the same product, then your invoice number, which is mentioned over here, that the document number, it would remain same in next few lines, and you just need to add the products. For example, I have A, B, C, 3 products. I can mention all the details of the product. At the item level, this is the total item value, and then you will have the total invoice value, total CGST, SGST, or IGST, whatever is applicable on that particular invoice, right? In addition to that, you can customer can also mention its bank details, that is pay name, that is other bank details. Also, it can also mention the due date of the invoice, as well as bank in which it would be shared. If the invoice is getting generated against a particular project or against a particular uh, uh, PO, then they can mention the project and the PO number as well. If you say e-way bill required, yes, then the part A of e-way bill would be generated. If you have part B details, or if the client has part B details, then they can mention the part B details as well. It can also be generated. So what I'll do is I will quickly upload this particular file over here. The moment I upload the file, it gives me an internal acknowledgement number. Uh, what it does is it goes through the process of checks. So there are two kinds of check which we apply. One is the sanity check, that is if the GST number is of the same length, that is the 15 digit or not, if the date is exactly the same or not, and so on and so forth. So various checks and balances it goes through. Then we have the business validation check. So business validation check is if it is of the same year invoice or not, if you have uploaded the duplicate document or not, so on and so forth. All those business validation it also goes through. So if your invoice or if your document processed well, right, it would say processed. If there are any errors, it would say it is processed with exception. So if there are any errors, So you can just click on this particular field, and you can you might as well can do the changes on the screen itself. You need not to go back to the Excel to make the changes. You can make the changes over here itself and click on save and proceed. So your data will be corrected and saved as well. You just need to click this action button. So once I click this action button, you see over here, it says that I have uploaded 9 documents with total value of, or total taxable value is this much. Let's do a quick check. So if you look at the document, I have 9 invoices uploaded. And if I look at uh, total total taxable value, it is coming to as 1 crore 45 lakhs. So 1 crore 45 lakhs 70,000 is the total taxable value. So the upload is absolutely perfect. I can go ahead and select one by one for uploading of, or for generation of the e-invoice, or I can click all at one go and click on generate. So within few seconds, your IRN number will be generated. So, and I'll click a refresh. So you see all your IRN numbers are generated. Uh, I can I can see one by one if IRN number is generated or not. I click over here. So yeah, so the IRN is generated. So here is the IRN number, here is the QR code, here is the acknowledgement number and acknowledgement date, and the rest of the invoice is pretty much the same. So you have uh, details of the supplier, bill from, dispatch from, all the details. Then you will have a bill to and ship to as well. And you, like we had mentioned, the bank details, all the bank details are also coming over here, and then the goods details. This part of the invoice is editable, wherein we can put or I would say this part of the invoice is editable, wherein we can put company's details of the client as well as their logo to make it their own invoice. And if at all there are certain fixed fields which they want to get added in the in this particular format, that also can be done. So here is the example of e-invoice. Now I'll come to e-way bill as well. So like I said that I had passed on the values of e-invoice as well, or sorry, e-way bill as well. So this e-way bill got generated along with it. So the e-way bill which we are generating, it also comes with the QR code, which is one of the new norms from the government. Also, since I had mentioned Part B details as well, so all those details are also coming over here. And at the bottom, it would also have the barcode. So that's the part of e-invoice generation. Now I can quickly take you through how you can cancel the invoice. Like Mr. Shah had mentioned that you can cancel the invoice within 24 hours of the generation. So you can go to menu and you can click on cancel e-invoice. You just need to mention the document number. You click OK, and then you search. So this document will appear, and if it is within 24 hours, so you need not to keep a tab of whether 24 hours have happened or not. But over here, the cancel cross button would start appearing on its own if 24 hours have not happened. If 24 hours have had happened, then this particular cross button would not appear. I can click over here, and I'll say duplicate or data entry mistake, and I mention the uh, same reason over here, and here we go. The invoice will be cancelled. So IRN cancelled successfully on so and so date. So this is the part of e-invoice generation, how e-invoice can be generated or how e-invoice can be cancelled. Now I am going to talk to you about one of the major or one of the flaws which government is trying to resolve within the GST is that you might find certain number of times uh, your client have generated their GST, their e-invoice, but that data has not actually flown into uh, GSTR1. So how are you going to identify if you find that there is difference between the, let's say, sales register of the client, and then there is a difference in GSTR1? So for that, what we have done is we have developed a reconciliation report wherein which we are saying it as three-way recon report. So what does this three-way recon report does is it compares your GSTR1 with e-way bill as well as e-invoicing. So I'll show you one such a report. So this is the report which is there. So if you find over here that the details of the invoice are mentioned, then there are few categories mentioned, and then you have GSTR1 data which is getting compared with your e-way bill and e-invoice. So let me show the categories. There are few categories mentioned in this particular sheet as well. So it first category is matched, that is the data is available in all the three sections, that is GSTR1, e-way bill and e-invoice. Then the second category is mismatch in e-invoice. Third category which is mentioned in missing in e-way bill, missing in GSTR1. Then we will have few more advanced categories wherein you would find that an invoice is missing in GSTR1 as well as e-way bill. An invoice might be missing in both e-invoicing and e-way bill, but we have manually uploaded in GSTR1. So I'll take you through how it looks like. So I'll attack the problem itself, that there is an invoice which is missing in GSTR1. So here is the invoice, that is KA something or MEGH 000, which is missing in GSTR1, but e-way bill was also generated and e-invoice was also generated. Similarly, if I look at e-way bill piece missing in e-way bill, right? So you would find the same invoices available in GSTR1 and e-invoicing, but sometimes it happens that I have generated e-invoice, but say that I will generate e-way bill later, and hence from the compliance, hence we were not able to generate. And from the compliance point of view, it is very important for us to complete all the documentation. So this particular category is another important one. So now let's say we have identified that there are invoices which are missing in, let's say, GSTR1. What are we going to do now, or what next are we going to do, right? So one way is definitely you go to GST portal, or you come to our portal, you manually upload all the documents which are not available. However, we have given another option, which is generate GSTR1 from e-invoicing, right? So you mention the period for which you want to generate GSTR1, and you click submit. The moment you click submit, it will give you the details of all the e-invoices which have been generated, whether it is B2B, whether it is credit netted debit note, whether it is export, whether it is HSN summary. So all details would be over here. You just simply click over here and click on migrate. So all the data will automatically gets transferred to GSTR1, which means that you need not to manually upload anything, and everything can be done on a click of button. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the demo. I am concluding my demo, and I am opening up for Q&A. Also, if you would like to understand more about this particular product from your own point of view or from your customer's point of view, then my colleague who is present in this discussion as well, or in this webinar, his name is Ketul Prajapati. His details are mentioned over here. You can probably connect with him. Thank you very much. Thanks for the time. Yeah.
Thank you, Rahul.
Yes, sir.
Now we can take question answers.
Absolutely.
So I have a few questions in the chat box. The question is, for tax-free good turnover more than 20 CR, e-invoice is applicable. Sir, for tax-free goods, you generate bill of supply, and if it is B2B, invoice applicable. If not, not applicable. E-invoice system, internet failed. What is remedy? Sir, as of now, no remedy, no SMS generation of e-way bill is possible. So internet failed. But yes, most of the software provides, and you get enough time to generate e-invoice. It is not that you generate invoice today, you have to generate e-invoice today. Yes, if you wish to go for shipping the product, e-way bill is required. Then without internet, there is, as of now, there is no remedy. Hopefully government will come up with something. Then we have a question. Dynamic QR code is compulsory in B2C transaction. It is for 500 crore plus turnover only that they are supposed to provide dynamic QR code in B2C transaction invoices also. PPT will be shared. If one has to make credit note in the month 31/3/22 and upload in month of April, then in which month it will be considered? It will be considered in the month of March only. E-invoice can be uploaded day to day or in a week. So it is advised to do it as and when you generate an invoice. That's a best practice. The provisions of e-invoice are silent about up to what date you should issue issue an e-invoice. We have got different reviews from different practical issues people have faced, but advisable, create an invoice, and unless you are not sure that this invoice is going perfect, don't do it. Do I have to become an e-invoice if we provide services? Yes, if your turnover is about 20 CRs, service is not an exemption. If e-invoice deleted, then e-way bill automatically deleted. So I'm not sure, but if e-invoice is deleted, e-way bill is definitely invalid. So yes.
Mr. Shah, if I can answer this question.
Yeah.
If you want to cancel any e-invoice, right? First, e-way bill needs to be cancelled, and then only e-invoice will be cancelled. So that's the process, or that's the way it goes into. So it's a two-step process. It will become.
Thank you, Rahul. E-invoice having freight charges, insurance charges, packing and loading charges, etc., which HSN is required to be mentioned for such other charges. For charges, I think there are SSE codes. If you want these figures to be in GSTR1 automatically, yes, you will have to add this line item in e-invoice.
It can also be added in other charges as well. Depending upon how you are charging this particular service, or how you are actually asking this particular service, uh, uh, you can mention accordingly. But if, let's say, insurance, if you are transferring the goods from one place to another, and there is an insurance attached to it, typically insurance is a percentage of the overall goods value, right? So then it would come under other charges as well.
I have providing rental property service and my service and goods turnover limit is more than 20. Can I generate e-invoicing for rent invoice? Yes, you have to. In case of petrol pump dealer in which most of the turnover is non-GST, if e-invoice applicable. Now, for e-invoice, they have said that turnover of 20 CR, and for GST turnover has a specific definition. If your turnover of 20 crore is as per that definition, then e-invoice is applicable. For GST, for registration in turnover, there is the definition. It is given for the registration in which the petrol and diesel, which is non-GST item, is not covered. So, in my opinion, it should not be covered for e-invoice if it is less than 20 CR. The discount or any other deduction can be done in e-invoice. As I came to know that minus figure is not allowed in e-invoice. Kindly enlighten. Sir, there is a provision to give item-wise discounts, but yes, totality discount is not allowed. Item-wise discount you can definitely give it to e-invoice. Export e-invoice के लिए क्या information जरूरी है? Sir, for e-invoice they have standardized the format. So when you go and fill the e-invoice data, there are mandatory fields. You have to go through it. And for see, export is a very specific kind of transaction in which most of the details are standardized and needs to be covered. There is a shipping bill also you need to make on the basis of same details. So in my opinion, there should not be something ambiguity about what information is required and not required. But yes, you are supposed to fill all the mandatory details. Otherwise, your e-invoice will not be generated. Please guide for ABCD format. I'm not aware about ABCD format. Rahul, if you know, you can tell.
So what we can do is, dear admin sir, we will take you separately through the session if you want. What exactly are there in the format, and in fact for the export as well, what is necessary and what is not necessary, that also we can take them through. So Ketul is there and he should be able to take everyone through that. It is pretty much standard as Mr. Shah has mentioned.
If e-invoice deleted, then e-way bill automatically deleted. As Rahul Bhai already told that you first delete e-way bill, then e-invoice will be deleted. Sir, limit reduced to 100 crore. That might be about this dynamic QR. That's a e-invoice having freight charges, insurance, packing, and loading charges, etc., which HSN referred already discussed. In an invoice, 2 or more rate of tax with same HSN number, then how and which format to upload. I think there should not be issue. You should give an 8-digit HSN and there won't be an issue. Up to Feb is less than 20 CR and in the month March to cross 20 CR. Currently not able to log in. What to do? Sir, it is about your previous year turnover. After March, you will be able to generate e-invoice. If GSTN do not provide you the window or do not allow you to log in e-invoice, then raise a grievance. They'll and tell them that we have crossed 20 crore. They'll definitely give you the access. Okay. So I think all the questions have ended. If anyone is having question, please let me know. Otherwise, we can conclude the session.
Mr. Shah, can I project the contact details of Ketul as well?
Yeah, sure. Otherwise, give it to me. Yeah.
Yes. What I can do is I can paste on the chat as well.
Yeah, please place it on chat.
So I think no more questions, Shridhar bhai.
Yeah, it seems. Thank you, Bharat bhai, for appreciation.
So now you have got the certificate from the senior GST expert.
Thank you, sir.
I request Honorable Treasurer of AGFTC, Sri Shivam Bhai Bhavsa, to please give certificate of appreciation to today's honorable faculty, CS Shridhar sir. Thank you, Shridhar Bhai.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Rahul Bhai.
Thank you very much, sir. It is my pleasure to be among us, among the CAs and probably present my invoicing demo to all of you.
I, I,
Would
I hope our tax professional has liked your software and they will definitely utilize it and they will definitely contact
100%,
you.
sir. 100%, sir. I would definitely look forward for having you on board, all of you on board. And I have mentioned Ketu's details in the chat box as well. Please, I request all the members if they can reach out to him and probably speak with him in case of any questions or queries regarding e-invoicing, or if they want to see the demonstration once again for the product, both of them can be done.
Thank you. So friends, I again thanks today's honorable faculty, CS Shridhar sir, for giving a very useful insight as far as the e-invoice is concerned. Friends, it is high time to get conversion with the technology and with the laws related to technology, because if we will not adapt, then we cannot definitely render our services in effective manner. Friends, AGFTC and IT Bar is keenly interested to impart possible knowledge in tax laws to all the professionals. We are going to come up with many webinars on different subjects with young tax professionals, with the experts in the tax laws in the near future. With this, I end up this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.